All right, everyone, welcome to the Perfect Pup Podcast, another episode together. We are happy to be here. Today, we're going to talk about 5 specific ways that you can calm down a hyper or excited pup. If you have a hyper pup, if you have a pup that gets easily excited, you know the challenges that come with that. So we're going to give you some actionable tips to help you overcome that with your pup.
And for today's pup dates, I've got a cool little article here that we'll share in the notes. So Disney is recreating Lady and the Tramp, which because Disney is just recreating
like a live action version of it, or what are they doing?
I think it's still kind of like what they did with Lion King, where it's not like people, but it looks a million times better.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What is that called?
I think that's
live
live
action.
It's
Still animation.
Is that live action? Can I Google on this podcast?
You can Google that. He's going to Google that and figure out what it means.
I'll figure it out.
But for Lady and the Tramp, they have, for the dogs that are in, it's real dogs doing things, I believe.
It's not CGI?
I think it's actual dogs. And I'm an idiot. This makes sense. It's actual dogs because the dogs that they have cast for these roles are rescue dogs. I believe...
Cool.
All of them, maybe most of them, definitely most of them are rescue dogs, which is pretty awesome. I think it's a cool, it goes along with the story of Lady and the Tramp, right? About, dogs kind of finding their way and finding their homes, right? And that happens. I haven't seen Lady and the Tramp in a long time, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And everyone, the only scene you really even know is the spaghetti scene.
Oh, yeah. And I love making jokes about that, actually. Like, if I'm eating, anything that's has any length to it, and I'll just make a joke with a buddy. You want to meet me in the middle of this?
You want Lady and the Tramp this thing?
Tramp this?
There you go.
It's a good joke, guys. Try it.
It gets a laugh 8 out of 10
times,
at least, which is a great one. Good percentage.
Yeah, totally catches people off guard.
So go check out that article and check out Lady and the Tramp, because who doesn't want to watch a movie about dogs?
Yeah.
So to today's episode, we're going to talk about, like Mike said, 5 actionable tips. We'll give you the 5 tips quick, and then we're going to kind of break down each of them. So the tips are this. Number 1, mental exercise. Number 2, place/settle training. Number 3 is physical exercise. Number 4 is trick training. And number 5 is impulse control. Those are the 5 that we're going to talk about, and let's dive headfirst into this.
Yeah.
Let's go. Mental exercise.
Okay, so you've got a dog that is super hyper. A lot of times you think, all right, how do I wear this off physically for them? That's probably most people's first thought with that.
Right.
Most people don't think or realize that if you wear a dog out mentally, or I was going to say emotionally, but it sounds weird that way, like you're abusing
emotionally
the dog or something.
Them out.
Yeah. Now, if you wear a dog out mentally, that will help them calm down physically as well. So I think that a lot of people don't consider that, but it's a really, really important part of making sure that your dog has the ability to exercise all the muscles in their body, including the brain.
And it's just like you and I. If you are sitting at home alone, not home alone, but if you're just sitting at home, I don't know why I said alone. If you're sitting at home all day long and you don't do anything all day, if you're just mindlessly just watching TV, number 1, you usually have you just feel lazy physically, but also mentally you just kind of feel groggy, and you just get too wound up by things, and it's harder for you to control your emotions. So the mental exercise is so important. One thing, we could talk for hours about mental exercise, but a couple points we want to hit on is number 1, don't skip out on mealtime as an opportunity to do mental exercise, because I think so many pup parents, we've all been guilty of it at one time or another. We say, oh my gosh, I just got to get out the door. I just need to put the food in the bowl, get rolling on with my day. Maybe you woke up late or whatever it may have been.
That's fine inherently. It's not a problem, but.
Right. And that's going to happen sometimes. But when you have the opportunity to use mealtime as a way to engage your dog's brain, do it. Because food is such a powerful motivator for dogs. And so, you can do things like foraging boxes where you kind of hide parts of their food in different boxes, or in puzzle toys, or little brain game toys. There's so many ways that you can use a mealtime as a way to get that.
Got that?
I think
You okay?
I think I like choked on something.
You're
Like a
thinking about
fly?
mealtime.
Yeah, I got hungry.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
other thing is using the kibble as a training reward too, and that would be a
Yep.
great way to mentally stimulate your pup during mealtime.
Yep. So yeah, try out different things, snuffle mats, even just a Kong, you freeze part of their meal. There's so many different ways. And then just another general tip on mental exercise, and we'll talk about this with physical exercise as well, but prioritize the morning, because for most people, you're leaving your dog at least for some time at home while you go to work or school or whatever it might be. And so making sure that they get that mental exercise in the morning before you leave them is super, super important. And it'll help with a lot of those potentially like destructive behaviors that sometimes pop up when our dogs get bored. So I know that's kind of like a boredom side, but it's also going to ultimately help your dog be more calm, even if you're there or not.
Yeah, and a good tip for that as well, you cannot overdo mental exercise. It's
For sure.
I mean, I don't think you can. I'm trying to think of scenarios where you could.
I mean, if you did like a 12-hour long training session, maybe, but like,
Maybe.
but like in most cases,
But for all realistic scenarios, it's very hard to overdo any type of mental training. So
for sure,
that's super valuable. But,
yeah, agree.
Okay, so the next one is settle or place. So what do you want to go ahead on it? You can, or I was planning on it, but you looked like you were like, eh.
Oh, I was like breathing in like to like fully focus on what you're going to say. Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I like it.
But then
Okay.
I'll talk. Yeah.
I see. All right. So place or settle. A great way to get your dog to chill out is just like if you teach them place or settle, where they have a place where they can go and lay down, that will inherently calm them down. They'll have the ability to really just take a step back from whatever situation is exciting them. It will remove them physically from what's exciting them as well. And most dogs will take nice steps towards calming down if they go to their place and they kind of chill out a little bit. A big tip for that is don't expect too much from your dog too soon. So start simple. Don't make them go to their place and have them sit there for 20 minutes or anything. Start easy with just 5 seconds or 3 seconds or, a very short amount of time. And if you start simple like that and then work up and start in different scenarios where they're more excited or less excited, but work into those more difficult situations and they'll get better and better at it as you practice.
Yeah. And just continue to build on it. And eventually you will be able to get to the point where you can tell your dog to go to their place. They will relax for multiple minutes. I mean, lots of dogs get to the point where they can just chill there for multiple hours until you tell them to leave. So it's a really good, like Mike said, it's kind of a way for them to like reset their brain. It helps them understand, okay, when I go to my place, like I'm here, I'm laying down and like, I'm not jumping up on people. I'm just being calm. And a really solid way to reinforce that with your dog is to give them like tasty chews, or maybe it's a frozen Kong, or, things that are going to just help them be calm on their place, right? To like really reinforce, like, this is where really good things happen, number one. And number two, this is a time for you to kind of just relax, calm down, hang out, basically.
Yeah, so, and we've got a perfect example of that with Doris, our dog. She loves meeting people, just is so excited to meet the vast majority of people. If you get somebody with like sunglasses on and dark clothes,
really?
Or like a hoodie or something, she doesn't like it. Like it makes her nervous for some reason. But anyway, most people she loves meeting. So they'll come over to our house and we'll have her go to her bed. We'll hand her a Kong or a chew that she doesn't normally get or something like that. By the time she finishes that, she comes over and she greets way more nicely rather than jumping on people or getting too excited.
Just in a better state of mind overall.
Yep.
I like it. Okay, let's move on to tip number 3. This is probably what you would think of first, like Mike said, and that's physical exercise. Yep. We talk about it a lot, and there's a reason for that. Really, if you look at dogs and think about like how they've been bred over the past hundreds of years, thousands of years, whatever, they've been bred to like have a lot of energy, especially a lot of the popular household dogs like the retrievers and the shepherds. They have been bred to do these jobs and to like run all day long and retrieve all day long and herd all day long and have the energy to do it. And, although in the past, 100, 200 years, they've become more just like pets in the house, they still have those inherent like genes and just desires to like run and do jobs and be moving around and accomplishing things. And so you cannot underestimate the power of physical exercise. And don't don't just think that like, okay, I need to take my dog out on a walk and that's enough exercise, because it's often not enough. You need to do more rigorous activities like playing fetch, playing tug of war, using a flirt pole, going jogging, going hiking, like things that are going to get their heart rate up. Just like you and I, if you and I went around a walk, just went on a walk around the block, we would come back and your heart would be up a little, but you wouldn't be like, panting, you wouldn't be super tired. Yeah. Whereas if we went out and, did wind sprints, like you're going to be feeling it. And so it's the same thing with your dog, like really get them moving, get them just physically like moving around. And if you can combine both like mental and physical exercise into one, like with fetch and like, even tug toys and, flirt poles, like that kind of gets both at one time. And that's where you really start to unlock like the calm side of your dog after you're able to do those things.
Yeah, for sure. And just like with humans, the more that you exercise your body, the clearer your mind is going to be.
For sure.
There's multiple reasons why they say a tired dog is a more trainable dog. So especially if you have puppies, and you're working through that training time, if your puppy is tired, they're going to be more compliant. Their mind is going to be more clear and ready to focus on whatever it is you're asking them to do, as opposed to like, I need to get these pets or I need to chew that thing or whatever else it is. So
super important. One quick note too on the physical exercise. If you have a puppy, the general rule is 5 minutes per month of age, twice a day. So if your puppy is 3 months old, 3 times 5 minutes, 15 minutes, twice a day. But again, that goes for like rigorous exercise. That doesn't mean, doing training in the house or even kind of going on light walks. Like that's the more of like the physical demanding exercise. And that's just typically to protect their like kind of their grip plates and their joints and just them as they're growing.
Yeah, for sure.
Still in the physical growth stage.
All right. So we've got the next tip. This is tip number 4, right? Trick training. So trick training is, the reason why trick training can be powerful for this is it's that good mix of both physical and mental stimulation for them. And when you teach your dogs cool tricks, your friends are impressed as well.
And that's probably the most important part.
It's like 50% why you own a dog.
Probably 51%.
Yeah, potentially.
Yep.
No, but really, it's a great way to mentally stimulate your dog in addition to that, because they're having to think about all these new things, right? In addition to that, it gives them a little bit of that physical exercise as well. Yep. But yeah, you don't have to start out with them doing all kinds of crazy tricks or anything like that. It could be something as simple as spin or roll over or play dead. We taught Doris bang, bang. And when you say bang, bang, she'll roll over on her back. So it could be really simple tricks. It doesn't have to be anything super complicated, but practicing those types of things will help your dog get a little bit of mental exercise as well.
And I think another important part of the trick training in general is, I think a lot of times as pup parents, when we're trying to overcome these problem behaviors, we get into this rut of like, okay, I've got to train my dog and they're kind of being a punk and they're doing bad things and I need to overcome this. And it becomes this kind of like mentally exhausting thing for us as pup parents. And it becomes like sometimes a little bit too serious, I think, where we just like get overwhelmed and we're frustrated. Yeah. And so the trick side of things, it's a good way to break that up. If you're in a 10-minute training session where you're working on stay and your dog maybe is struggling, break it up and go do a minute or two of trick training and, get them to do spins and rollovers and kind of just keep it light and fun and then step back into the serious side of things, or the more serious side of things, I guess. Yeah. But, that trick training, it really is a valuable way to help your dog calm down. I'm going to put a link in the description of this episode of a video of, was it a border collie? Remember that YouTube video I showed you? That was like that super hyper border collie doing, and it like set a world record for an agility course. And this dog, like you can tell it just has so much energy. Oh, man, yeah. Like it is bouncing off the walls, but like the pup parent like created this level of communication and, because agility, energy. Yeah. And because agility is trick training in a sense, right? And so like, it's all about channeling your dog's energy into like positive things. So I'll share that link in there so you can watch that video. And that leads us to the 5th and final tip, which is kind of a combination of a few of these, but it's impulse control. Kind of a little buzzword. You hear it a lot on the internet about.
What does that mean?
Yeah. What is that? I mean, in a simple form, it's helping your dog understand how to control their impulses, like how to wait and
Running
how to
through
be
the door,
patient,
waiting to greet people, going to their place, waiting to get their food, all kinds of stuff like that, right?
Yeah, understanding that those things can still happen and they're still going to be able to explore and do all the good things that dogs like to do, but it's more of a, hey, there's structure to this. Hey, you need to look to me for guidance and for saying, okay, go ahead and do that. It's all about them understanding that they can't just go buck wild and do whatever they want. They need to listen and focus. And, the power of impulse control is, a lot of these problem behaviors that if you're listening to this and you have a hyper dog or a ton of energy, in your mind, that's probably equating into like your dog jumping up on everyone and barking and being reactive. And, a lot of those things, it's just a lack of impulse control. It's a lack of, your dog not understanding that I'm not supposed to do that. I can't just go wherever I want. I need to be focused and paying attention to what my pup parent wants. And I'll still get the good things of the dog world. It's not about, it's not about stopping them from doing things. It's just teaching them the right way and how to wait and how to be patient. Super important.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong process too. Just want to add that. I mean, impulse control is one of those things where it'll take months, years of practice. Like you'll continually be improving your dog's ability to control their impulses. Little shameless plug on this. We here at Pupford have 21 impulse control games is what it's called. And they're, like it sounds, 21 games that you can play with your dog. They're super fun. There's different levels that you can kind of progress through for your dog's, abilities with these specific games, and they're all going to help with impulse control. Some of them are going to be more specific to kind of like jumping or barking or pulling on a leash or being reactive to people at the door. But in general, they're all going to help your dog gain better impulse control. And we'll put the link in for you if you want to go check that out.
Yeah, and understanding those behaviors build on each other, right?
Yep.
Like you were saying, understanding one of those will help your dog understand all of them and also understand how to behave in general, just how to be better in general. So
for sure. Recap real quick. The 5 tips. If you are looking for ways to calm down your hyper dog, do these 5 things. Number 1, mental exercise. Number 2, place training or settle. Number 3, physical exercise. Number 4, trick training. And number 5, impulse control. We gave you tons of awesome ideas. These are actionable. You can go start working on these right now.
Oh yeah.
Today.
Do it to it. What are you waiting for? Do it to it. When's the last time you said that
phrase? I don't even
good,
know.
But I feel like I haven't heard it since like high school.
I don't really know what it even means.
Do it to it. It doesn't matter what it means.
What does to it mean?
Well, it feels good when you say it.
It does feel good.
And so you know that it's the right thing to say.
That's true. And that's, yep.
And we will end on that. Everybody have a great week.
Subscribe. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe on YouTube. Thanks so much for listening. Leave us a review. We will see you guys next time.
Yep. See ya.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.